Okay, I'm back with another video. It's what, 11:05 Monday morning, and I'm actually getting kind of a late start. I think I went to bed. I think I went to bed around maybe 12 midnight, maybe around there. Off and on I slept. I woke up around 5 and went right back to sleep. I tell you, this whole thing has just got me like so, frazzled, and it's I think what I'm so resentful about is the fact that these people keep this information to themselves. Something that deals with my life. When it comes to Joel's family, I do think. Well, I'm glad I'm getting divorced, but I would never have anything to do with these people. Never. And why? I've already said it before, so there's really no point in me talking about it anymore, but you can't take or mess around with something that important with what a person does for a living and expect to be forgiven. Can't do it. I don't care what the excuses were. You don't mess with a person's ability to take care of themselves. That is where I draw the line. That's just like somebody trying to murder you, and that's not acceptable to me. Especially since, I talk to Joel a lot, about my issue of being targeted and everything. And that to me is just really creepy. So now I think just about everybody in town knows the definition of stalking. It's basically what a lot of the people here participated in. And, clear up the misconception that stalking is some, weird dude like standing behind a tree waiting for a girl to come out or something like that. That's what everybody conjures up in their mind. But no, stalking has a very wide definition. There's gang stalking, there's predatory stalking, there's all kinds of stalking out there. And it's all illegal, all of it. It was an unnecessary operation. Like I said, if they had an issue with who I was, both of the families knew each other, at that point at least. I don't know how far that goes back, but I'm assuming the Facebook thing, it's like, what is the point of stalking me? I know for a while it started off kind of on a religious type bend, where people were coming up to me talking about Jesus and stuff. And, I didn't think much about it. I knew there's a lot of people who do that. But now I'm starting to see that there was a pattern, and it just, everywhere I go, it was like somebody was asking me weird questions or whatever. I would say that the questions have subsided, and I think the stalking has calmed down to a certain degree because I don't get that hostility, but it's funny how you can turn a person against another person just because. You know what I mean? If anybody really looks at this whole thing under a microscope, actually you don't need a microscope, it's just so fucking out there for anybody to see. It's like, do you know the entire story about what happened between Joel and I? And if you don't, then, why jump into conclusions? Just because somebody lies to their husband. But I would consider myself, otherwise, I was very good to Joel. I really was. I was very good to him. When I think about, how the whole setup was, like, there were often times, he'd pay me money for the week, and then he'd end up using the same money that, he gave me for, like, rent or what do you call it, household money. So it's like, Joel basically took advantage of my kindness. You know what I mean? He's not somebody that somebody should be defending. And that's not to cut him down, it's just I think that his nature has developed into something ruthless because that's his upbringing. His family's ruthless. You know what I mean? So therefore, that's the only way he's going to know how to live. Or somebody who's going to, feel like, taking from somebody or trying to manipulate somebody behind the strings is the only way that they can keep that sort of family dynamic together. Because honestly, I personally find his mother someone to be so appalling that the only way she can keep him being loyal to him is for her somehow have control over him. Because there's no way in the world that she deserves any kind of loyalty. That's how corrupt that family is. So my issue is that I married Joel, who belongs to a family that is basically crazy. Because, I mean, that sort of behavior is crazy. You don't bother people at work. You don't create problems for them. You got an issue, you just deal with it straight up, directly. So I don't have any respect for that garbage. I don't think much about Joel other than this whole situation, this whole puzzle that I've put together. Other than that, I don't think about him. I'm not just like my blood relations. I'm not sentimental about him at all. I look at him as somebody that I'm very creeped out by. Someone I don't ever want to have anything to do with. And that's really too bad. Yeah, we had some fun times together because, he was funny, and we would talk and stuff like that. But when you think about how somebody's brain is so double-sided. Just like the Manchurian Candidate, somebody who could switch into one mode and switch out to another. Why would I want to associate with something like that? I don't. But I'm not bashing Joel. It's just, just trying to get shit out of my head, and that's pretty much how that works. So I'm kind of running low on energy today. I'm kind of disoriented. Monday always does that to me because I know I need to look for work, and I'm just tired of this whole bullshit, this whole garbage that went on around town. I don't want to deal with perpetrators, because that's when they call you in for job interviews and they're wasting your time. They're perpetrators. They're calling you in for something other than what you're going in there for, and I don't want to deal with that. Okay, to me it's a form of harassment, or it certainly is a waste of my time, and it hurts me financially every time I have to do something like that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you have to hire me. If you find somebody that you like better, you feel as though their skills are better, then that's different. But when you're calling me in just to waste my time, I just not appreciate it. But to be honest with you, I'm a great candidate. So I can't understand why that happens, because I have good skills. I'm very, good, and I'm dedicated to my job and everything. So there's no reason for me really not to get a job. I should be able to get hired immediately. But if all this bullshit wasn't existing, it wouldn't be an issue. So I just wish people would stay the fuck out of my shit, because they don't belong in there. They really don't. So anyway, I'm sitting here in my pajamas and got my slippers on. It started to get kind of cold in the morning. And then a few nights ago, I had to put my heated mattress pad on because it was pretty chilly in here. I have that heater unit that's into the wall, but I guess I have to do some cleaning on the roof, and that's going to have to get done sometime soon because it's going to start getting very cold at night. And I like it when it's cold at night. I do. I tend to sleep a little bit better when it gets chilly. There's something about being all bundled up in sheets and comforters and stuff like that helps me rest. Whereas the summertime, I'm just tossing and turning and dealing with heat, even though the air conditioner could be on. It's just still, I don't like the summer months really. The days are too hot, the nights are sticky, and there's nothing good about summer. Of course, when I was little, it's funny. I never really paid attention to being under heat. I remember walking outside, playing for hours outside, and not really thinking about how hot it was. I didn't really start paying attention to that until I was maybe 10 years old. Before that, it seems like, I don't know, are all kids like that? I don't know, but I was one of those kids that could just hang out and play all day in the sun and never realized exactly how hot it was. You know what I mean? I never felt like it was just, the heat was just overbearing. But now it's after I got to a certain age, it was I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because I was becoming programmed to be sensitive to it, maybe if nobody brought it to my attention how miserable I was supposed to be under the sun, maybe I never would have noticed. Who knows, Silly things like that I wonder sometimes. But anyway, I'm going to, I guess I should get out of the house for at least a few minutes. I know I need to get a few things at the store, which I really don't want to go. I really don't. It's not because I'm being antisocial. It's just I want to get out of the house, but when I do get a chance to get out of the house, the little things that I do are so mundane and boring that it's like, okay, it's mind-numbing to do the same ritualistic thing over and over and over and over again, you know, and it's just like, you know, gets to be a drag at times. So. Anyway, I'm going to finish up this video. I was just like clearing my head about that whole issue relating to that family, and yeah, that's a family that I want nothing to do with at all. I mean, that's just so, they're so weird, and so, you know, their behavior is completely inappropriate, you know, and like I said, you know, I don't want to drag on a war with these people or anything like that, because I don't know these people, okay? They're obviously working on autopilot and thinking that, you know, they have some sort of rights or something. They have a very improper way about them, you know, to where they feel like this sense of entitlement or whatever over me, and they don't. You know what I mean? I would never have anything to do with that. They could keep their little family traditions, you know what I mean? But the thing is, when you marry into a family, traditions and customs or whatever should be discussed before you get into that relationship. Or at least, even if you're already in that relationship, it should be discussed to you face to face. You don't try to manipulate somebody into following your way of life, okay? And I personally think that their way of life is garbage. I really do. I mean, I would not have, I can't say that I respect that family setup at all. There's not one thing that I admire about that, you know? I only went to like maybe one or two of his family functions when we first got together many years ago, like in 2001, 2002. And I never felt comfortable there. I just thought these people were like, I don't know, I just didn't click with them. So I never made an effort to see them again. You know what I mean? I just figured I don't have anything in common with them, so why bother with them? But, and that wasn't me being mean to them. It's just like, you don't feel comfortable around people, why be around them, right? I mean, it just makes sense. But, and that wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a hostile gesture on my part. It was just, you know, hey, I'm not, you know, I'm one of those people. And, you know, you got them, like, doing all this shit, you know, hey. You can control Joey's life, or they call him Joey. You can control Joey's life if you want to. And you guys can do all the kind of weird, sick shit that you do. But leave me out of it. I don't want any part of it. I don't want your weird shit. Not at all. I realized, you know, when I married him, I was marrying him. I'm not interested in package deals. And now I see what he really is, and I'm not interested in him at all, really. The only thing that I could say is that he's something that, what interests me about him at this point is his psychological makeup. Like, you know, just how deep does that kind of mind control go? You know what I mean? It interests me. Like, I remember reading a book. Sorry, I meant to wrap this video up. But I remember reading some books, you know, a few years ago about mind control and certain families that, you know, that behave like this, you know. And maybe, you know, his family tends to be what I would consider they're ignorant. I don't really think they have an understanding of what is right and what is wrong. I really don't. And that goes for a lot of the people who got involved in this town. There's a lot of people who never really considered any sort of social guidelines or how to behave or what's right, what's wrong, or how do you deal with problems and come to a regular solution. You know, ignorance is very prevalent in a lot of places, you know what I mean? But I mean, it's quite apparent that this is the way it is. You know, when I think about his mom, I know she spent some of her teenage years in a sanitarium, and I think she was like 16 when she got married. And when you think about the certain life lessons that a lot of people learn at a certain age, maybe because she was in isolation for a certain period of time, or maybe she didn't have the right proper social structure to give her proper guidance. Or she could be very much like those people in like backwoods of like, what do you call it, the Appalachians or something, where the word incest and that sort of thing and child molestation doesn't exist. You know what I mean? To where you don't know what's right and what's wrong. You know what I mean? And that could very well be the case, you know. But whatever it is, fuck that shit. I don't want any part of that shit. You know what I mean? It's too weird for me. You know, it's disgusting. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I'm more civilized than, you know, a lot of people that I know. I am. I'm more civilized. I mean, I do understand the difference between right and wrong. I do understand that you're supposed to respect, you know, the rights of other human beings. You are not supposed to impose or infringe or bullshit on other people. It's proper respect. You know what I mean? It's like when your mom is everybody's mom, and this is a universal message: mind your own business, or you know, or respecting the rights of others is just a common life lesson that just about everybody. At least by the time I was 5 years old, I understood that. Okay, but it's weird how you see a lot of people, adults, you know, who are walking around thinking that they have rights, or they become extremely controlling, you know, that sort of stuff. So ignorance is it's very common, very widespread. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people who, you know, such as myself and I guess a lot of our other targeted individuals, because one of the things about making a person a target, let's just say, for example, this whole issue, me lying to my husband, never happened. There's a good chance that I would have been targeted anyway, just because of the very nature of who I am. You know what I mean? I would have been targeted for completely different reasons, just because I'm different. You know what I mean? And oftentimes you're a target because you are different. And most of the time when you're a target and you're different because you tend to have higher social standards than everybody else. They don't understand why you do the things that you do, why you put conscious effort into the certain things that they oftentimes do spontaneously and without thought. You know, you're different, so therefore they're going to look at you and they're going to kind of observe you like, you know, like you're some sort of, I don't know, display at a museum, because they're fascinated by that. They don't understand what makes you tick. You know what I mean? So, that's my life. Anyway, wrapping this video up. I'll have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.